Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aldina and I am the creator of Divinely Healing. So today I want to talk about healing from heartbreak and healing from relationships in general. As I've talked about in some of my previous videos, I was in a long-term relationship that ended about 9-ish months ago. We did have a lot of issues in our relationship, and one of them being addictions to alcohol, and another being that I was very angry and I resented him for a lot of things because I couldn't ever open up. I had the hardest time communicating how I was feeling, and the times that I did communicate how I was feeling, it was just shut down completely. Now, besides the fact that we were constantly fighting over everything all the time, one of the main reasons that I walked away from a relationship was because I had completely lost myself. I didn't even know who I was anymore, besides his girlfriend and a dog mom, because my whole world was revolving around him and my dog, and that was it. I had to get to the point where I wasn't me anymore to finally walk away. And that's not okay. I went from being this young girl that was so in love and was so happy to be in a relationship with that person to being gone. The light that I had that was within me was gone. And I was in constant stress. I didn't even feel safe anymore in the relationship because I couldn't be myself anymore, or at least I felt like I couldn't be myself anymore. I felt like I couldn't be that girl anymore that I was at the beginning of the relationship because things had gotten so serious. We were always fighting. There was always some issue, and I had to be in control. I couldn't just flow with things. I couldn't just have fun and enjoy because I felt like I had to be a mother. And randomly, I would get a glimpse of that girl that I was before, the fun girl that was so in love with him and so in love with life. And it made me sad because I wanted to go back to that. And that's when I knew that I couldn't be in the relationship anymore. When most of the time I was sad, when most of the time I was worried about him and what he was doing, and would he be safe, and how would this happen, and was he gonna drink, because if he was gonna drink, there was gonna be a fight. That's just how it always went. So for months, up until I finally decided to break up with him, it was in my head, just thinking of, how do I get out of this situation? How do I either go back to that girl that I was when I was in love, or how do I just end it once and for all and walk away and find my way back to myself. And I felt really guilty. I felt really guilty about having those thoughts, and I felt guilty when I broke up with him, and even after, I felt guilty for a really long time because I felt so free, but at the same time, I felt sad. I felt like there was something wrong with me for walking away from a relationship, because I've always been a very romantic person, but in the sense that I've always wanted to be with the love of my life. I've always thought about having that kind of love that was just everything that you've ever wanted, that you felt so safe in, that was completely unconditional. And so it was like I was beating myself up because I was like, well, maybe that was the one. And I walked away. And it took a lot of time to finally come to the conclusion that he was not the one. That if he was the one, things would have worked out differently. If he was the one, he would have worked on the addictions and his vices. He would have done his best to stay in that relationship and to make me feel heard when I was telling him that the alcohol was destroying our relationship. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things I could have done differently, and I know I'm not a perfect person, but I do know that a huge issue for us was his vices. They were the things that were taking control of him that he could no longer control. So it took a lot of time for me to finally be okay with walking away and choosing myself and doing what was best for me, and not just settling because I couldn't see my worth and because I thought that was what I deserved, and that it wasn't going to get better, and that there wasn't going to be anybody else in the world that would love me. And it took a long time. It took a lot of shadow work. It took a lot of reflecting and a lot of time alone to get to the place where I'm at right now. And I'm not 100% over it, but I would say I'm about 70 to 80% over it. And that's a lot for me. And I know it sounds really cheesy or whatever, but we really do accept the love that we think we deserve. And if you don't see your worth, if you don't think that you deserve love, you are going to attract relationships. You're going to attract people that feel that same way about you, that don't really see your worth, that don't think that you are deserving, and they show you that through their actions and through the things that they do. If you don't like who you are with that person, or you don't really like who that person is, and you're just staying there because you're comfortable or because you're settling, it's never gonna end well. The important thing here is that nothing and nobody is worth losing yourself over. To not be able to recognize yourself in the mirror anymore. to not really be happy. Because life is short and it goes by so fast. And it would really suck if you spent that time being miserable. Walking away from that relationship was really difficult, and it took every little bit of strength that I had left in me to finally close that chapter and to go forward and to keep moving. And it sucks because a lot of people talk about heartbreak in the sense of, well, he cheated on me or he left me or whatever, but I rarely see things about people being heartbroken because they love somebody, but that love overpowered their love for themselves. That there's a different kind of heartbreak when you truly care about someone, but you have to walk away. Because if you don't, you know it'll completely destroy everything that's left of you. And it wasn't easy. But once I started seeing my worth, once I started piecing together the things that I truly wanted in a partner, it did become a little bit easier. I don't want to fight all the time. I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to feel unsafe. I want unconditional love. I want to love someone unconditionally, and I want them to love me back the same. I want to feel safe. I want someone that's going to keep me calm, that's going to feel like home. The most important thing you can do to heal is to choose yourself. Because once you choose yourself, you start growing, you start learning, you start seeing yourself for what you really are. And you stop accepting things that aren't worthy of you. You stop allowing certain people to treat you badly, and you stop allowing these thoughts, this ego that is so persistent, that is so present. You stop allowing it to take control of you and your decisions and your happiness and everything. So now here I am, 9 months after the biggest heartbreak. And man, some days are so easy, and some days are really difficult, where you'll see signs of them come up, or you'll hear their favorite song, or someone's talking about their favorite movie or whatever, and it hurts. And there was a time where he was everything that I wanted him to be. But then I finally had to be honest with myself and see that that was all just me with rose-colored glasses, seeing the potential in something that wasn't really there. Relationships can be very tricky, and That's why I've been alone for 9 months, 10 months, however long, because I've been working on myself. I've been working on my heart. And as I've been working on myself and understanding myself and seeing my patterns of the people that I let into my life, I've seen just how unworthy I thought I always was. And it sucks. It sucks because I feel like I've shown a lot of people unconditional love and what unconditional love is like, and they've shown me how much I need to love myself. And I had to come to terms with the fact that even though I've always wanted this great love, so romantic, unconditional, I've always been afraid of it. I've always been afraid to open myself up to this kind of love. And so I always liked guys that weren't available to me, that couldn't give me what I wanted, because deep down, even though I really wanted it, and I talked about it, and I read romance novels, and I watched all the romance movies, and whatever, I was so afraid deep down of being able to show my full self to somebody and have them love it, to show them the darker parts of me, and for them to accept it and love it and embrace it. And it's hard to come to terms with that. It's hard to accept that. And it's so important to know that everything that you need is within you. Everything you need is all in here. If you're looking for love, it's in here. You have to be okay with being by yourself. You have to feel safe and comfortable in who you are. Because if you're not, you'll never be happy. I've been so angry. So angry for my whole life. And I don't want to be angry anymore. But in order for me to get over that anger, I, one, have to let go of the things that have hurt me in the past. Two, I have to speak up. I have to tell someone something. I have to show myself to someone, even if they don't accept it. I have to scream it from the rooftops. And three, I have to understand why I've been angry. And I have to love that part of myself. I have to look at that part of myself and I have to say, I see you, I love you, and I understand you. And those things were in the past, and it's okay to let go. I don't have to build up this wall to protect myself. I don't have to create this hard exterior to protect my soft and sensitive interior. It's okay to be soft and sensitive. I don't have to be in control. I don't have to control everything around me. Even though the relationship was hard, we did have great moments. And even though it broke my heart and I lost myself, I know that it was so necessary because I was able to find myself again, to open up to the real me. And honestly, if I was never in that relationship, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be able to be doing this right now. I wouldn't be able to learn how to set boundaries for myself, learn how to say no. I wouldn't be able to stand up for myself and to speak up and to be who I truly am on the inside. And I wouldn't be working towards my passions. I wouldn't be finding new hobbies and doing things that I've always wanted to do. So even though my heart broke, I was able to put it back together again. And it won't ever be the same. And that's good, because it can be better, it can be lighter. It won't ever be like that again, because I see who I am. And I want you to see who you are. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.